What's going on, Mexipino family? My name is Nico Blitz, and before we start the podcast, we want to make sure you know all about our sponsors, Tap Tap Send.
Tap Tap Send is your remittance best friend. You can send money to the Philippines with zero fees from the UK, US, Europe, and Canada.
Yes, and if you use promo code Mexipino, you'll be able to send $10 US to your family and friends in all the countries that Jackie actually just mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, you can send 10 pounds, $10 US. Just make sure you download Tap Tap Send and use code Mexipino.
Yes, and if you stayed long enough for this podcast, you will see that we have a special promo going on with Tap Tap Send right now. So tune in and enjoy the podcast. Yay!
Am I supposed to look at this camera or when I talk, or do I talk to you guys?
Either or.
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of used.
When I make the remarks, I'm like,
yeah, you can do that. You can do that.
I mean, you're used to talking in front of a camera for I don't know how many years now.
it's my first time.
Whoa.
This coming from my boyfriend.
Well, this is how we're going to start off the
manager.
podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nico Blitz.
I'm Jackie Ramirez.
Oh, we're starting now.
No, we've been started.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm DJ 360.
Hell yeah. DJ 360 is in the building. DJ 360 degrees, Tita Jinky, all that. How are you?
I'm good. I'm rested. Just got back from vacation.
Tan?
So, a little bit more. No, not really. Not tan enough.
I always try to get tan. Me and Jackie been back and forth. Well, I've been back and forth between Mexico for the past month, so I've been trying to get a little bit darker.
Well, you are light as fuck, though. Like, you're pretty light. You're light-skinned Filipino.
Oh, I know.
You are.
Yeah.
I know. I'm the mestizo.
You are.
You feel?
Wait,
Yeah.
what does mestizo mean?
It's basically the masculine light skin. Mestizo, mestiza, light skin. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Filipinos have that too.
Well, what about Mexicans?
It's
Isn't that-
morenita. Morenita means like darker skinned.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're going by levels here. We're talking about you're like dark, medium, and light.
Light, yeah.
We're going by like pay grade and also social grade.
I'm saying.
Oh, you work in the farm, so you are. What is that? Menedita? What did you say?
Morenita.
Morenita.
Yeah. When I was younger, I got called morenita by a school crossing guard. That was like interesting. That was like that was my nickname. She goes, Morena. I'm like, oh, okay.
Damn, you can't get away with that nowadays.
Oh, no, for sure not.
So that's dark.
Yeah, it's like
You were dark.
I was dark, I guess, compared to others. But like as I got older, like I got light, and
Yeah,
then
it
softball, I
happens.
got tan. You know, so it all really depends on like what that person's vision of like dark is.
I get you. I mean, I spent a couple months in the Philippines, like literally 3 months, and I got back just super dark. Like the tan line between like my upper body and my shorts was insane.
Yeah, no.
So the question is, were you treated differently?
Ooh, you know what? It's weird because I guess in the Philippines, when like a white person goes there, it's like Jesus Christ's second coming. No, I'm dead ass. Like they treat white people like they're gods over there. And so when I went there, I mean, I didn't feel like I was treated differently, but I could tell people could tell I was like American because I'm not as dark as them. So it's like, you know, maybe I get like a couple more stares here and there, but like, you know, I think after I build that bridge, like, hey, I'm Filipino too, it's like that kind of all just like waters away.
Yeah.
That didn't work for me.
Really?
I think the element of that is more you're American, and I know it, and they treat you different. I've only been to the Philippines once. I was born there and whisked away and came back in 2019, first time ever. And they just knew it was like the scent of American. You know? And so they were so nice to me, and they looked at me like, you know, in the cartoons where they see something with money or they're like, you're rich, and then they got the dollar sign.
Yeah.
It was like that. And they're like, she's rich. And I was like, oh, snap. Even my family, y'all, like they were just like, oh, Tita has money, or oh, I like your shirt. That all is true.
Really?
And, you know, it more so, I took my nieces and nephews to shopping sprees. You know, when you go in, okay, tell me, when you went to the mall in the Philippines,
Yeah.
my dad said this. He was like, oh, look at all these people. He's in the military, so he doesn't have the accent like my mom does. Oh, look at all these people walking around. Don't nobody have any bags? And I was like,
Damn.
oh shit, you're right. And he's like, they're just here for the AC, or they just want to look like they're shopping.
I'm sick.
And I was like, Dad,
That's real.
You're right. And I was like, oh, but it was when we were walking around and they're, my little cousins, because, I don't know my family, my side of the family. The only family I know is my Lola, but she passed away. And so when I went there, I was like, I'm going to treat my nieces and nephews because I know that they're well off, but they're, they don't get the luxury of like, you want this and that.
Yeah.
It's expensive for them.
Yeah.
So I bought my nephews, like, we went to Nike. I was like, go look for what you want. And they're like, really? And, you know, very, very grateful for it. But I was just like, just pick what you want. I don't care how much it is. And, but also the language barrier. But they're just like, whoa. And all the salespeople are like, oh, do you need help?
Yeah, like what else do you want?
Sir, you need help? I'm sick.
That's hella funny.
And I was just like, oh, and I always kept my purse real close to me because I was like, oh, they know that I'm American and they're going to try to, or whatever, try to bump up the prices. And so I'm like, Dad, is that right? And he's like, yeah, that's right. Because a lot of times at the market, I don't know if it's like that in Mexico, but they're like, oh yeah, it's 5 pesos. No, not really. It's actually 2.
No, that's like what happened. We went on a Disney cruise recently and the stop was Cabo. And as soon as we got off, all like the guys that were trying to sell like whatever little knickknacks they just went directly to Nico. I was like, oh, they're about to ask him some stuff he doesn't know. And I was just like, oh, he had like a bag on him. I was like, keep it in front of you, like please. And then they started offering him like to take pictures with iguanas and stuff like that. But then after they were all like, oh, like they started offering him Coke. They started offering him like
Coca-Cola.
No. And Nico was just like, no. And then he would ask me, he's like, so what did they ask me? I'm like, they just offered you drugs. I was like, just say no to everything that you see. Like,
on the cruise?
No, like as soon as we docked.
When we landed.
As soon as we docked.
When we landed.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, damn, y'all didn't even like ease into it. You know what I mean? Like
there's no easing into it.
It was just right away. You want some Coke, bro? I was like, what?
Hella funny because the way they wanted to sell weed too was they asked like, do you want to see Shaggy? I'm like, what? Excuse me? I was like, it took me a minute. I was like, what did he ask me? Like,
hey, he's been pitching that forever.
Yeah,
he's a pro at what he's doing.
Yeah. But you said you were born in the Philippines, so when did you come over here?
10 months old.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Military. My dad joined the U.S. Navy, and he was like, okay, you have this baby, let's go. And I never came back.
Damn.
And you ended up in L.A.? Or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in L.A. after,
Okay.
we were stationed in Lemoore, Central California, and then Oxnard.
I was like, where the hell is Lemoore?
So, like Fresno, Hanford, Visalia, in the middle of nowhere, y'all. That's where it was, like cotton fields.
Wow, what the heck?
Yeah.
So
because it's a base, and now I guess, according to what people tell me, that's like a big, like plane base. I don't know where all the planes go.
Oh, like
the fighter jets go there, like the Top Guns.
It's where the plane house is. It's a housing for planes, basically, the area.
For the Navy.
I know the technical term in like the back of my head. It's like an airplane hangar, like a hangar. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Damn, that must be a big ass hangar.
All the fighter jets, they go from there to wherever. My dad schooled me. He's just so proud military because he used to work on the carriers and
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's why he has no accent. Is a really, really good deep PJ Butter voice, radio voice.
We need him on the radio then.
Yeah, it's like my dad. Yeah.
Wow.
So they're like, you want to come back to the Philippines? We're going to go to the Philippines. I was like, no, thank you. I heard that you have to flush the toilet with a tabo, like.
The water, water.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? And then they're like, oh, let's pile it on. They're like, oh yeah, and we take showers in the river. And I'm like, for real? No, I ain't going there.
No, so they definitely over exaggerated that, like, because they did. They probably did it once. Like my dad would tell me stories about how they would shower in the river, for example, and I'm just like, you probably did that once, and you're carrying that for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah, and they'd be like. You don't know how lucky you are. I didn't have stuff like that. I had a roller skate with a can, and then we put the wheels on it. And I was like, really? Like, I believed it for a second, but I was like, oh man, you guys are really poor. I was like, I got it really good. I should be so thankful.
Yeah, nah. I mean, Filipinos do like to over-exaggerate, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, shoot, the way my dad like describes how he used to walk to school, it seemed like he went from like Colorado. Yeah, like
you should tell her.
No, like he'll be like, I used to like walk from here to here, and while we're driving, and it's the same. Like we could have passed this route, I don't know, probably like 50 times in my life. And he's told me that story 50 times where he walked through like a rainstorm, a thunderstorm, like it was
dangerous
hailing,
animals.
Yeah. He encountered something, I'm just like, yeah, I get it. And something else is always added new to the story. I'm like, I don't think this is accurate anymore at this
it's like,
point.
by the way, this is where the bear attacked me.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? There's not even bears over here.
Not like any selling.
All right. Jesus Christ. I don't know why they like doing that, though. I guess, in a sense, it's kind of like, I guess you would like to protect your kids from, like, the realities of what's going on, in a sense.
I don't know.
No, I mean,
think Filipinos just love storytelling, and they like to embellish.
Embellish.
Can you wait? Can you give the definition of embellish?
He doesn't know what embellish is. Jesus Christ.
You know, if you say something is, this big, but it, they're like, oh, it was just this large thing and it was shiny and everything. You're just like, oh, and then you're like, oh, it's just
an over exaggeration, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what Nico does.
Yes.
Yeah.
A marites.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know marites, right?
And the Super Friends?
In the Super
You
Friends.
don't know about Marites and the Super Friends?
No, what is this?
It's a little cartoon that came out where it was like her name was Marites. She was the maid at the Super Friends camp, and she talked about Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
I thought marites had a different meaning.
Well, PJ is also looking like he doesn't know what you're talking about.
Y'all don't know.
Wait, what?
I was
What
on
is
the
this?
Internet way before you guys.
Wait. Okay, so how old is this marites and the Super
I would
Friends?
say, GeoCities time. You remember GeoCities? Let's see.
Okay,
The
how
beginning
about
of their internet. I think you should go and Google it.
How about
after.
this? Give me a rapper that was very prevalent at that time.
Oh, geez.
Since
I
we're
don't
both
even
DJs,
remember.
I think that'll give us a better understanding of this era of marites and the Super Friends.
Marites and the Super Friends. Let's see. Where was I? I think I was in Westco. Dr. Dre, Eminem.
So this was like peak Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop era?
Earlier times. Yeah, you can Google it out.
Oh, wait, no, wait. But I want to know about this marites and the Super Friends.
Yeah.
So, okay,
So it was part of a video game?
It was like a cartoon somebody made. I think it might have been Rex Navarrete that was voicing Marites' voice.
Okay.
Oh.
But Marites, that's everybody's tita. Like,
The chismosa.
yeah.
So this has been a thing since forever. I thought marites was just like some new shit.
I think it's evolved somehow. Did you not know what evolved means?
No. Oh my. Wow. I'm leaving. Y'all can switch the camera by yourselves now.
You skipped class when they taught all the E words. Embellished, evolved.
I'm sick. No, but I didn't know. I thought I only know of it because of him, but I didn't know that it was like kind of like a generational thing. I thought it was just more of like a recent thing, marites.
Oh, well, I think it wasn't so much what we're calling it now, because it's like she's the one who's gossiping and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, the titas, that's what they do. So I think there was never really a name to it, but there was a lot of marites around, like maids.
So what?
The maids. That's what your grandma's one in the Philippines. The one that like the CCTV.
Oh yeah. So they call maids in the Philippines now like CCTV.
Oh, closed caption television. No?
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause- Yeah. 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 So they call maids in the Philippines now like CCTV. Oh yeah. 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 So they call maids in the Philippines now like CCTV. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they know what's going on in the house.
Yeah.
And so after they go and they, chismosa.
Yeah.
Oh, did you know about? I saw them over there talking about that.
Because
But don't say anything. You did not hear it from me. I don't want it to come from over here. That's what my mom said.
The accent, does that come from like you listening to your mom? Because you did
it's
that
really
so
good.
well.
It's hella good.
You say that your dad didn't have one.
No, I
either.
know, right? I know. I was waiting for that to come up. I don't speak Tagalog, y'all. I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I don't.
Oh.
I only know some words, some phrases, but I'm pretty good at mimicking what you do and the sounds that I hear. And the sounds that I heard was my mom and my Uncle Romi. Really, it's Uncle Romi, my dad's brother. So he had more of an accent, but he was like the playboy.
Okay.
Like the young, like, because he's the younger brother. My dad was more older, responsible, mellow guy. And I'd say my Uncle Romi was like, he's like, hey, it's like, how big is your bird? How me up like this and like eating his with his food with his hand. Like, that's my Uncle Romi. And he's like, oh, you want to smell my feet? I'll let you look at the Playboy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's like, he would do like this silly things because he was the jokester. I think that's where I get my humor from.
Yeah. That reminds me of my uncle, honestly. So my uncle, relatively enough, is also my Uncle Romi. My ate, for real. Okay. My ate Ashley's dad.
Oh yeah.
My ate Ashley,
I can't confirm. He does have Uncle Romi.
No, so then what happened was that like when I was younger, he'd be like, hey Nico, do you want $5? I'm like, yeah, what do you want? He's like, I'm going to lay down and then you step on my back with your feet. And I would just want the massage. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then as I was getting older, it would be like, step on my back, I'll give you a beer.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
It's like this for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The exchange. The Uncle Romis of the world. They're popping.
They're the best. Yeah.
They're popping.
I love my Uncle Romi. So, like when I was on drill team, I guess we would go do our routine, our parade routine. We'll go straight out and then we'll walk back to do it again. And I'd be like, God damn, that was hard. I hate it so much. And all of my girlfriends are on the team. They're like, oh my God, you're so good at that. And they're like, you sound like my uncle. I was like, and they called me Uncle Jinky. So I was like, yes, because it was like my uncle's voice, but then I sound a lot like my mom. So it's kind of those two put together, and then all of the aunties all the mariteses that used to come over because they would always talk, and those are the sounds that I heard, and so I remembered it, and I remembered exactly how they stress the words, and the sing-songy part where they're like, I don't do that. Everything is a song, not like that, but like this. It's always, this
an up and down reflection. Yeah.
And so I'm just like, oh, okay. And I guess I retained it, but never regurgitated it until like high school. And they're like, you're really good at that. So
now you're hella good at that. See, and it's cool because it's like I would have thought that you spoke Tagalog just based off how well your accent actually is.
No.
Do you wish you would have?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But, according to my mom, she's like, oh, do you want me to speak to you in English or Tagalog? And I was like, literally, Mama, I am American. I speak English. Mind you, I think I was 4. And so she's like, okay. And so she just spoke to me in English. But then she would speak to her family, friends, and, my Lola in Tagalog. So I picked up on words, but I never could speak back. Like they could say something to me, but I'd be like answering in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, friggin' the other day, I was hanging out with my Lola back in the Bay Area, and my Lola has dementia. So then she asked me this question a lot, like, when are you going to get married, Nico? And you know what I mean? So I'm always answering that back, but I'm always answering back in English, right?
Okay.
So then next thing you know, she turns to my mom, and I can't say it in Tagalog fully, but then she basically asked my mom in Tagalog, like, how come Nico doesn't know Tagalog? And I was just like, well, damn, nobody here taught me.
Yeah. Well, did you live here all your life?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So you never lived in the Philippines at all.
No, but my sister ended up learning Tagalog because her nanny was right next door from like our old house, and she just taught her Tagalog the entire time. Meanwhile, I was hanging out with like Chinese people down the street.
So you know how to speak Chinese.
Ni hao,
Ni hao. That's it.
That's about it.
Okay.
But I mean, I think for me, like when it was for me growing up, I was really good at Spanish, and I would say that it almost seemed like Spanish was my first language, just because my grandma, both my set of my grandparents, they only spoke Spanish, and they took care of me growing up. And then as I got older, I stopped because I thought it was embarrassing.
I think
And-
that's the
Yeah,
case.
And
yeah.
now I feel like I try and have a conversation with them. I'm like, I it's nowhere near as good as when I was younger.
Yeah.
And you could tell, like, oh, it's Americanized now.
Can I actually let me piggyback off of that really quick because I had a really dope conversation about this. But like, I think when I was growing up in the Bay Area, right? I mean, you know, there's just so many Filipinos there, and there was like basically Filipino Americans and then like the Fabi Filipinos, and the Fabi Filipinos would speak
They're
a
in
lot
Daly
of Tagalog.
City. Oh,
No. So I'm in
Strike
San
that comment.
Francisco. I'm from San Francisco, first and foremost. But you know, when I was over there, like, you know, whether there were opportunities to like really learn Tagalog or not, I just told myself like, I don't really want to be a part of that, right? Because I'm surrounded by it 24/7. And then when I moved to LA, I'm just like, well, shit, there's a whole bunch of Mexicans. Like, where the hell are the Filipinos at?
Yeah.
And then I found myself wanting to learn more about my culture. And then now I'm in a position where I'm just like, damn, like, I really regret not learning Tagalog when I was a kid or when I was younger, because now that's like the one thing that I want to learn, you know?
but did that happen for you? Did that realization happen for you when you got to LA?
Yeah, it happened because I guess there's a scarcity of Filipinos in my eyes, at least, you know, like
You
when I
didn't
moved.
know where.
Exactly. And what's funny is that when I do run into other Filipinos across LA, I'm like, "Kamusta?" You know what I mean? Like, I'm always making that
they're like,
bridge.
That guy's a fob.
I know.
They're like,
That guy right there, huh?
They just look at Nico. They're like, "What?"
hi, I'm good.
And no, but I gotta tell you, it works though. It works. Yeah.
okay.
Let me give you a prime example, right? This literally just happened on the way to Mexico. All right. So
At LAX, not
At LA, okay, at
not in
LAX,
Mexico.
LAX.
Let's clarify
So
that.
I go to the airport at like 7 in the morning. So naturally, I'm like, I want some coffee. So I see a Pete's Coffee, right? And then next thing you know, I see the the barista. He's Filipino, and I was like, "Oh, kamusta pare?" He was like, "Mabuti lang." Like I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, how are you, bro? And I was like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm chilling." The manager, this little Filipino lady, she's like, "Abigan mo, is that your friend?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is Kuya, like Reynord or something
Yeah.
like that, right?" And then she just starts laughing. I kid you not. I'm waiting, and then I finally get to the front of the line. The barista, the Filipino dude, he was like, "Hoy, boss, what do you want?" I was like, oh, I want a number 2, right? And then next thing you know, the little Filipino lady manager, she was like, "You're okay. Just go. And I was like, if the Filipino card did not just come into action right now, like, I don't know what that was.
The way the Filipino card has worked on Nico so many times since I've been with him, it's ridiculous. I can't even get a Mexican card.
What?
No, it doesn't work for me.
Is that a green card?
You're fucked up. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Nico.
Oh, I can already tell it's fun in this.
It's more he just says stupid shit all the time.
I say stupid shit until she's really like, no, that wasn't funny. It's like, okay, I'm sorry.
She's like, can we have a moment over here? I need to talk to you.
Those are the nights I get.
It truly doesn't work for me. And I don't know why.
When you go to the Bay, is it different?
Yes. I think,
But what do you mean? It's different?
yeah, it's different because I think like there's just so many of us here that it's just kind of like, okay.
I get.
And,
I
know?
get you. Like it's.
But if I go somewhere else, like when we go to Mexico and I'm able to speak to them, like, hey, like, you know, I know how this goes. Yeah, then they'll hook me up.
Yeah. Well, that's why when I was in Mexico, I was like, damn, I have no pull here. I have no Spanish. They're like, ¿tú hablas español? I'm like, no.
No.
I don't know what else to say.
How does that work for you, though, over here? Because, I don't know, it don't work for me. Maybe because people don't know what the fuck I am.
Well, I was about to say, like, are you able to pull any of those cards?
No. No, not a Filipino card. That's for sure.
Maybe you just need to start off with the ¿Cómo está?
Maybe.
But then they're going to start talking in Tagalog and
You're gonna be like, nope, that's it.
I might be able to. I might be able to.
Depends
Short
on where you go, though, I
conversations.
think, here,
Yeah.
too.
Well,
Yeah.
where are you going? I'm going to go there.
Where am I going?
LAX?
Yeah, I'm going to LAX at the Pete's Coffee. Shouts out, Kuya right there.
No, you know what I need to do is wear my duster and some slippers
Oh, no.
and just shuffle over.
I'm sick. Like that.
Oh, man. But though, like, I feel like the Filipino community just got, like, super tight because of, like, Twitch, though. Because I didn't realize there were so many, like, Filipino DJs until Twitch happened. Yourself included.
Me? You
Yeah.
didn't know I was Filipino?
No,
The
I
DJ?
didn't. I think we were probably on, like, a raid train together. And I was like, oh, 360's Filipino. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, did you know there were that many Filipino
did.
DJs before?
I think my lens of Southern California, LA, and Filipinos and well, I just know about California.
Yeah.
Yes, there are a lot of Filipinos in the Bay, but more towards the city side, like it seems, because Daly City is like
It's
the
big.
Cerritos.
That's right.
But like when I lived here, I was just surrounded by Filipinos, and in fact, Filipino DJs are the first DJs I knew about. Because in Oxnard, that was what it was, like Filipino DJs, and they did all of the dances, like Camarillo, Oxnard, Channel Islands, because they were the main high schools at that time. But they were doing all the weddings, all the events, and it was just like, that's why I was like, oh, I want to do that, And of course, Icy Ice when it was Legend Entertainment. And even my mentor, who's from Carson, he's Filipino. Like, everybody was Filipino too. So my lens was different. Like, all the people I hung out with in college, Filipino, Asian. Well, we had some, some Asian. We had the token Korean and the token Japanese guy.
So that really sparked then your interest in being a DJ.
It's just music in general. But just the fact that it was like, whoa, when I watched them and just them being able to manipulate the instrument and then get a reaction from the crowd or, let's be honest, they were the popular people too. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. That looks really cool.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
mostly because of music. And I was like, I could do that. And I was like, oh, those two songs don't go together too good, but I would play this, even being young, I felt that. And so I learned. Yeah. And the fact that it was just, that was all that I hung out with.
Yeah.
That's what I knew.
Yeah.
Because Oxnard was very small, even smaller. So everybody knew each other, small town, and they're all DJs or the girlfriends of the DJs. And I'm like, I want to be the DJ. I want to be the girlfriend of the DJ. I want to be the fucking DJ.
Damn, shots to Jackie.
What did I say?
You said, I don't want to be the girlfriend of the DJ.
It has its benefits. It's cool.
From before though, when I was young.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
mind you, I think this when I was like, I know I want to play that I was in the 8th grade.
So you knew you wanted to be a DJ when you were in 8th grade?
8th grade, maybe 7th.
That's lit.
Yeah, because my brother was 4.5 years older than me. So he was already in high school and he was running with the DJs and he was like one of the non-DJs. And so they gave him equipment. They put it in his room and I didn't know it. My room was at the end of the hall and I walked by and I was like, I saw something different in the room and I was like, and I said, I'm going to play that one day. And that's what I remember.
That's sick.
That's my memory of, I'm going to play that shit.
So then, I mean, did you start like at that moment, the next day, like?
No. Let's see, 8th grade. I started learning when I was a junior in 92. I didn't really start playing until 93. Yeah. So it took me some time. I always like wanted to learn, but who's going to teach me? I don't know who's going to teach me.
So then how did you start learning?
So one of my high school friends, she was dating who became my mentor. His name is Richard. He was really good friends with Ice. And so he was a DJ in Carson, but moved to Oxnard to be with his girlfriend, who was my friend. And he's like, you know what? You know, I have my equipment. He's like, you wanted to learn how to DJ. I could teach you. We should just make a girl DJ group. And I was like, ooh. I was like, word?
That's cool.
I was like, okay, teach me, you know. And this was before Serato, before any technology, was all analog, all records. And he's like, here, this is what you do. You just take these 3 records, just mix them back and forth. And I'll change the pitch. You just pitch to it. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm not like, he's like, yeah, listen.
You're like a pitch. What the fuck is a pitch?
You're like, baseball bat?
Okay. And so he's like, well, just start off with them just being at the same pitch, you know, same speed, and just go back and forth and see if you can catch the beat, you know, and listen to it. So I caught on to that really quick. And that's just kind of how it went. And then we just progressed on to more records and doing more things. And I didn't know about bars. I didn't know about, you know, so I'd mix it on beat, but probably not at the right time.
Yeah.
I learned that a little bit later.
So did there end up being like a whole group, like you said, or was it just you?
We did. There was 3 of us. We were like the TLC of Oxnard. So.
Sick.
Dressed like them too. Like I have the picture still, but I was the only one who actually kept that going. You know, so through high school into graduation and going to college, I was playing. I actually ended up teaching some of the guys from my. Well, I don't know if you heard of Theta Delta Beta, but it's
the sorority.
Yeah, it's the fraternity, but I was a little sis to the. They have a little sis program, so I was like little sis. Yeah,
good old TDB.
TDB, Fullerton, Irvine, Long Beach. So yeah, I was little sis in Irvine though. So, but even though I lived right down the street from Fullerton. Oh, you got words. I think he's got words, y'all.
I didn't know those just a very huh?
What?
It was a very toxic moment in my life.
Oh wait, whoa, what?
Theta Delta Beta.
I have no.
Are you TDB?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm definitely not.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Now I remember.
My ex-girlfriend was also a little sis to someone in Theta Delta Beta. So whenever I hear TDB, it's like a trigger word. It's like yeah.
I was so confused for a second.
We're just gonna air that out. We're gonna move past that now, you know. So you're teaching everybody in TDB.
That's what you just triggered.
Okay.
What's up, Mexipino family? We want to take a moment to stop the podcast to tell you all about our sponsors, Tap Tap Send.
Tap Tap Send is your remittance best friend. You can send money to the Philippines for 0 fees.
Yes.
You can send it from the UK, US, Europe, and Canada. And guess what? If you use code Mexipino, you get $10 from wherever you're from. So if you're in the US, you get $10 to send to the Philippines. If you're from the UK, you get £10 to send to the Philippines.
Also, stick around just a little bit longer because we do have a special promo going on with Tap Tap Send right now, and it has something to do with these hoodies that we're wearing. So stay a little bit longer, Mexipino family. Yay! So you're teaching even like your brothers and TV.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, how do you do that? And I'm like, come here, I'll teach you. It was also like a hack.
Yeah, that's sick. So wait, what's that thing called? Where all the Filipinos gather in Fullerton?
Friendship games?
Was that happening during that time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you DJ any of them?
No. I was DJing at DeVry for, I don't know.
DeVry University?
My brother and all of his boys were out there, and they're like, oh, come, DJ for this one Filipino event or whatever they were doing. And me and my friend, who I DJ'd a lot with in LA, we would go and set up the stuff over there and DJ for them. And they're like, oh shit, she could DJ.
Yeah.
You know, because I know some of them were from the Bay that were living out here, and we're like, you know, hanging out. And they were just like watching me like an eagle, because they're like, she can't DJ. She can't do records. Or, you know,
especially back then too, right?
Then, oh my God. There were like the only idol I had back then was Ice's sister, Symphony, which I actually named my daughter after.
Oh,
Wow.
that's love.
Ice, did you know my daughter's named after your sister, Maria?
Wow.
But yeah, because she's sick. Like, still to this day, I'm like, she's one of my favorite female DJs.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, back then, not too many. That's why my mentor was like, yeah, we should do a girl group. Because that doesn't happen. Like, we don't have that out here.
Mm-hmm.
And
to even have that idea, though, like, he had to be, like, really
Just open-minded.
too.
oh, yeah, yeah. I think he saw the potential,
Yeah.
I guess, and that he could kind of mastermind that whole thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, Rich is behind that.
So did your brother become a DJ, too? Because he...
not.
No?
I think
Just had
to
all the
this day,
equipment.
he's kind of like, fuck you.
That's DJ 90 degrees right there. Oh, shit.
So then what did your family think about you DJing?
I didn't really know. They didn't really know until later. Probably more recently. To be
Really?
honest, they know I like mess around with the turntables and stuff, but you know, now it's like my mom's like, "Oh, you did that DJ today?" There's no, because when she sees the green screen come up, she's like, "Oh, are you DJing today?" Yes, Mom, I'm gonna. Oh, okay. You let me know when you're done. And so, like, I mean, since I moved back home, they're like, is your camera on? my dad is always like, what's that you got? Like, my dad, like,
Hella curious.
yeah, like, he'll come on the screen sometimes. And he's like, what are you looking at? Are there people actually? You're talking to people? And I was like, yeah. It's like, the whole Twitch thing is crazy. But when we went to Manila that one time, they got to see me DJing. And I was like, that's the one thing I wanted for them to see. Because they know that we had the radio. We did live mix show, and I would do gigs and stuff like that, but they didn't get to see me in a club setting. And in Manila,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've partied in Manila. I know you have.
Cebu, but yeah.
BGC at the really big, I don't know what you call it, like the big club house hub where there's like 20 different clubs in one.
Oh, in Manila? Yeah,
In
they were
Manila.
telling me about that.
That shit is magical.
They're basically saying it's like the Vegas of Manila.
They'll boast that it's bigger than Vegas.
Yeah.
And they're like, we started this because they have the lighting that goes like this, and they're like, we did that first before Vegas caught it. You know, I'm like, okay, okay. But like, they were so proud, and they're like, oh, this is what you do. This is, you know, it's so wild. Like, they stayed up, and like, I think my set was like at 2 a.m. because they'd be going until like morning over there all night. And there's like 15 different clubs going on
At the same time.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Ace Ramos, because when we went, he's like, you want to go see the rest of the club? And I was like, isn't this it? So, come on. So we walked up these stairs. He opened up these double doors, and it was like,
Just more people.
it was like pool club. Like, there was two giant pools indoor, and there's DJs here, and there's like another small DJ booth on the other side, but it was also a separate lounge from the pool. And he was like, yeah, we could put you over there tomorrow. You want to come back tomorrow? I was like, sure. Because it was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then we go through all these secret passageways, and it's just this other club. And I was like, okay, outside it just looked like a strip mall. This is weird. you know? But then the big club, Xylo, all the rich kids are there, all the spoiled kids. You know, but yeah, it was awesome. Like,
yeah. Would you say that was your most like memorable experience as a DJ, considering
yes,
everything?
absolutely, 100%, because my parents were there. Like I'm really
love that.
close to my parents.
Yeah.
Like I'm close to my family. So, and my auntie, who is my dad's sister, she was also there. She's from Italy. She got to come out. Even my driver came out. Yeah, I had a driver. The driver came out and he partied with us, and I gave him the bottle of hen that they gave. Like I took the whole damn bottle home. Like they're like, oh, take it. They're so cool there in the Philippines.
I
That's
feel
super
like
lit.
I feel like with a lot of like DJs, it's their most memorable set has to do with their family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
I agree. Like, I mean, there's some really cool experiences that I've had, but I think that one, like, I love looking at those videos over and over again because my dad, oh my God, when we went around to the provinces, he's like, this is my daughter. She's a DJ. Did you know she DJ'd in Manila? Everybody, she's a DJ. He was bragging. And I was like, oh, Dad.
I love that. I love that.
It's okay. You could stop that now. But it was really cute how he was just so proud of his daughter. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Because I think we're finally like breaking the barriers to where like, you know, just these, I guess you could say unorthodox jobs, because we don't have like a pay stub that we get like every week or anything. Like it's starting to become normal for our families, you know, because I mean, whether you're DJing or I'm DJing or Jackie's hosting and whatnot, it's like because it's happening so often within our lives and we're seeing other people who are like us do the same thing. I feel like we're at this point where it's like normalizing a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like just I think our families will never fully understand what goes on, but they're just kind of like, okay, we know they do something and they're okay.
yeah.
You know?
I think it's more my career, my day job, that they're like, what is that you do again? Like, you talk to the TV and you do what? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they know that what I'm doing is a really good career. But they also understand that I do this on the side, as long as it's. I still feel like Mom is like, as long as you don't do that full time, kind of thing. Like, because when I was supposed to be a nurse, just like everybody. Somebody asked me that today. What? Oh, so my friend Rick was like, "Why do you think that is? That Filipinos are all nurses? Like, is it a thing?" I was like, I feel like that perception, or what it should be, is like you're in medicine, you drive a Mercedes. This is what success looks like to them, and you have nice luxury items. Like, if I could show off this big Louis Vuitton bag or this Chanel that has a big Chanel, then I have arrived and I drive a Mercedes and I'm a nurse, But it's like, I think Filipinos are looking for that stability. And I told him, I was like, even, my friends, because we just went to Mexico, I was like, I feel like our cultures are very similar. Like they want that stability, and they know that stability comes in medicine or law, because you could practice anywhere. And I think that's where that whole perception or the favor of being in medicine or a nurse, it's easy. You could go to any state, anywhere, and you have that job security.
Yeah.
And it's high paying.
Yeah, like you said, like I think for us, when it's like law enforcement, it's law enforcement and
But that's
teaching.
dangerous too.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's like I don't know. It's very like a lot of us in like my culture, we kind of see it's very like black and white. It's like we either hate law enforcement or we love law enforcement. And some of our family members might hate law enforcement, but we have a family member who's law enforcement. It's very like I said, black and white, but it's the stability that our families want for us. And I remember at one point I wanted to join the academy because I saw my uncle go through the academy, and he just told me, he's like, absolutely not. He goes, even if you try and apply, I will say no.
Wow.
Damn.
He's like, I don't
reverse rigged.
He goes, I don't want you to be in that. And I was just like, okay, well, I mean, I guess I got to look for something else.
You didn't ask for a reason?
He said that he just didn't want me to go through like the process of it because of how he saw like his group go through it. The females in his group go through it. He's like, I just wouldn't want that
like
for
military.
you. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's just like you said, it's all about stability that they just kind of don't really. They always still question it in the back of their mind a little bit. And yeah, I wasn't until radio, and that was literally recently that my parents were kind of like, okay, she's fine. Because it was always like, okay, I have this hosting gig, but I'm looking for the next one too. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. And then I finally get the stability. They're like, okay, she's fine for now. And I'm like, okay, no, guys, I'm okay.
Even as an adult, they still are like, for now.
Yeah.
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 And do you still get that for now?
No, I don't. Well, so I know that I got the apprehension of changing, because I was like, fuck this shit. I don't want to be a nurse.
Yeah.
This is my mom's dream. It was definitely the Joe Coy moment. I was like, this is my mom's dream, and it's not mine for sure. I hate the smell of hospitals. I barely like the smell of Band-Aids. Like,
I hate blood.
I don't want to stick people. I don't want to wipe butts. I don't want to, no, I don't want to do that. So I turned around. I made the phone call, told my parents, told my mom. My dad, of course, was like, I support you. And he's always been that guy, whatever you want to do. Mom was like, what is that? What are you where are you going to go? I was like, I want to go into design or something like that. Because mind you, back then, web design was what it was called. Now it's like user experience, product design. It's evolved into
massive,
so many.
yeah.
It branched out because back then, internet was still relatively new, and designing on the internet or just designing jobs in general, that was not animation or something you see on TV. So she's like, what is that? What is that even? Like, how stable is that? Exactly what she said. I don't know if that's stable, but okay. Because I was like, I already did it. I'm out.
Yeah.
So you didn't finish even going to nursing, like the whole nursing. You just
no. I said, this shit. I'm out.
Wow.
Because it's not for me. And I was like, well,
yeah.
In college, you go through a lot of emotional roller coasters. You're like, what am I doing with my life? And what am I doing with my job? My boyfriend and I are having problems, or whatever that is, or I'm having issues with my friends. It could be a number of things. And so you're still trying to figure that stuff out. And I'm like, all I know is nursing does not make me happy. I know that it's going to give me a paycheck, but it's not for me. I can't imagine myself doing this every single day.
Yeah.
And be happy. And to that point, I'm like, oh yeah, go to the hospital. Tell me how many people you see working there are smiling. Like, yeah, unless they're gossiping about something.
Yeah.
It's emotionally and like just mentally draining.
And I was like, I want to, and the thing is, I did clinicals in a mental unit.
Oh no.
And that's when I was like, nope, not for me. I can't deal with this and my own stuff. I want to, I need peace.
Yeah.
So when I did that, it was my brother and his wife that were like, maybe you should move to the Bay, like try to get a job out there. And I was like, I have no experience. I don't know what I'm doing. But my nature is I'm self-taught everything. I learned how to code. I learned how to learn the systems and web, print, web design, which are two different things, all of that. And I was building sites like crazy and coding it by myself. And so they're like, you have enough of a portfolio to put together. So literally no student loans, I have no student loan debt, all experience, and six-figure job like that.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Like that. And mind you, back then it was tech boom, the bubble. Like everybody was going out buying cars and, stocks and all of that stuff. So I was living the life. It was at the expense of my friends here in LA who were like, oh, what are you going to wear to the wedding? You're probably going to wear Versace, right? And I was like, Versace? What the hell? Because they knew I was making money.
Yeah.
And so
That's
That's
off-putting.
kind of it. And I'm like, don't need you guys like that. That's really sucky. Like, first of all, I miss you guys, and I miss having my girl. I moved to the Bay. I have no family there. I only have friends sprinkled around the area. So it kind of sucks that I'm hearing this from you guys because they were not. And I think it could be a jealousy thing. You know, I could see that it might be something of that sort. But I mean, it was really rude because I was busting my butt.
Yeah.
You know, but after some time, you know, like every time I talk to my mom, she's, how are you doing, anak? How's your job? That's always the script. How is your job? How is everything there? You know, and I'm like, Mom, job's good. And then I think I had one child. I had my first child, and, you know, I was outside. I remember this clearly. I was standing outside of my driveway, and she asked me those things, and I was like, yeah, you know what? You know what's funny, Mom? I was like, oh, yeah, by the way, I got a promotion. I got a raise. I was like, oh, yeah, you know, I think nurses make like 100 and something, whatever that was. And I was like, Ma, I make more than that. I was like, remember that time where you told me, you know, you didn't want me to quit nursing. You wanted me to stick it out. And you're like, what is this design thing? I was like, I think I'm doing pretty good right now, Mom.
Yeah.
And she's like, Mom is like typical Filipina, like I am never wrong, or if I am, I won't say sorry. All right, okay, fine. You know, she'll brush it off. You know, but she told me, she's like, well, I guess sometimes I'm wrong. And I was like, did she say sorry?
Wow.
Or what was that? And
No, like it was a technical. I'm sorry, but it was
Yeah,
close enough.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
take it,
Yeah.
put it in my pocket.
You gotta
take your small wins.
Yeah, you can take your dubs.
I will, but she's, you know, like I could tell she's really proud of me. And I think
That's so cool.
more of what I do because I don't want to have the conversation with my mom saying, Mom, I failed. Or,
Oh my
Yeah.
you know,
God,
even
yeah.
though I think failure is fine, you know, but to your parents, you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
like it's funny that you mentioned that because like when I graduated from college, my mom basically gave me an ultimatum because, you know, they helped me out with school. And so they're like, if you don't find a job between now and when your lease is up, and if you don't find an apartment, like we can't help you anymore and you have to move back. So I'm like, shit. Okay. So then I had to, you know, I busted my ass. Granted, I had some things that like helped me like eventually get my job too within the span of like 2 months. But there was like this fear of just like, I don't know if it was fear, but it was like this thing in my head saying like, I don't want the conversation of, okay, fine, whatever. I'm going to go back home. I need your help, da, da, da. I never wanted to have that
Tail
convo.
between your legs. And
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me, I think, well, I never finished college.
Me either.
I never finished, and my mom, she could say she's proud of me and she's like super happy with what I do.
I know where you're going.
But at the end of the day, it's like, Jack, do you think you should like, you know, still do this?
degree.
Yeah, have the degree. I'm like, I don't want it. One, I don't. Right now, I feel good enough that I don't need it. I was like, and I've made it this far. And I've told Nico this before because when I met him, I was still going to school. And then it started becoming this thing too where it's like, damn, what if his family thinks I'm like stupid because I don't finish school? Like, and I just kind of was like, no, this isn't for me. But if I am going to do what I want to do, I better make sure, that
you're good at it.
I'm
Yeah.
really good at it and that I get to where I need to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a weird stigma about school. I feel like we don't. Oh, I shouldn't say this. Stay in school.
I mean,
Everybody just go
there's
to
certain
school.
things that you should go to school for.
Like,
Obviously. I'm not
like
gonna
don't
go
learn
into
how to.
I'm not gonna freaking take someone's appendix out because I don't know how to do it and
You
I
can
don't
learn
have
that
it.
on YouTube, Jackie.
You know what I mean?
But like, I think for a lot of what we do, it's like you said, self-teaching yourself.
Experience.
It's experience, and it's just really grinding it out.
For sure.
100%.
Yep. I mean, you could go to school. Yeah, let's just flip it the other way. You could go to school. You can have your degree. You can have a master's degree. You could have like extra, you know, learning and shit and experience. But if you don't have that grind, if you don't have that heart into it, you ain't gonna succeed.
Yeah.
It don't matter what kind of paper you got.
Yeah.
You know?
And it doesn't the people that have that mentality where they don't want to grind it out and they just think that that piece of paper is going to get them where they need to be, they just weed themselves out.
Absolutely.
think too.
I feel like that's like more so the like kids nowadays. And I use kids now that I turned 30, so shout out to my old ass. But, I'm noticing, like I just DJ'd a prom, for example, right? And I'm noticing, A, the attention span of these kids, like when it comes to the music, right? But B, I'm just like, but that's like one small thing that can go across like how they act on their daily basis, right? Like if things aren't presented to them now, that means they want things like in a microwave setting, whether it be their music, whether it be their career choices, or just, I don't know, anything. And
Instant
to me,
gratification.
yeah, they want the instant gratification. So I feel like it's very off-putting if what's presented to them is you go to school and then you're offered this, that, and the third right after, because it's not that easy. It really is. Coming from someone who graduated from college, like it's not that easy,
Yeah, definitely not.
So you graduated from college.
Yeah.
Are you using your degree in what you're doing?
You know what? Technically, I am.
Okay.
Yes, technically I am. So I graduated with Jesus Christ.
You don't even know what you
graduated with Jesus?
Yeah, I graduated with Jesus Christ. No, but I graduated with a bachelor's in basically like radio and like multimedia.
Okay.
I'm in radio. This right here,
There you
flipping the
go.
switch, is multimedia. So you know what I mean? Like I at least wanted to like get some sort of direction of like how I can get into these things. But afterwards it came the networking. It came like the actual grind to like understand that like, hey, like what I want to do doesn't pay a lot. So first of all, I got to get the first job that isn't going to pay me a lot. Then I got to figure out how to make more money like within that same realm of what I want to do. And so, it got to a point to where people were telling me like, bro, like, why don't you just do like Uber Eats for a bit? Oh, bro, why don't you just like work at a restaurant? Just to kind of like help supplement my income. But I told myself, I was like, it would feel like I would not be doing myself due diligence if I did something that wasn't part of my career choice. Because the second I felt like I was doing a DoorDash or an Uber, and not to knock anybody who does that, because that is a very commendable job, especially if you need that. But like for me personally, it's like, I'm not going to do something that's not me. And if I got to make $12 an hour working 20 hours a week, and I got to figure out how to make an extra $100, I got to do that. So that's where I was taking like $50 gigs at like hookah lounges and whatnot, because I was like, you know what? I need to make this money anyway, so fuck it.
Yeah.
But it's also your exposure to other things. Like it's a ladder.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what your path is, and that's your path.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Now that I have like technically like 3 DJs in the room, how do you guys decipher your rate? Because at one point, like Nico, like he just said, he was doing $50 gigs for what, 4 hours? Yeah, at one point.
Sometimes people be cheap like that, though.
No, but like, at what point do you say like, no, this is how I see myself and how I value my work?
Well, I guess for me, it's somewhat different because DJing is not my main way of making money, right? Because I have a career, and it's funny because on Twitch they're like, "Wait, you do something else?" And I was like, "What? Where were you guys for?" Like, I have a 9 to 5. Like, I have a job.
Is it the web design and everything that you were mentioning earlier?
I'm a senior product designer in
Sick.
AIML, y'all. Like,
ooh,
fun, techie, geeky stuff.
okay.
I'm smart. I really am smart.
You're like, no, deadass,
I am. But I think the DJing is definitely secondary. Like it's just, that was my passion. Like music has always been music is my boyfriend. Like that's how I look at it. So
sorry, PJ.
when I even before I met him, it was just like I just have this love affair with music. Like I know it's weird because people on Twitch are like, how come she knows all the words to these songs? Like even old songs, or or just friends are like, how do you know the words to this old song? It's like when we're in a diner and they're playing some old school stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. How do I know the words to this? I grew up on music. My dad is my influence.
Yeah.
So I think that's also why he's really proud to see me do something with music. He's a musician. And Uncle Romi.
Shout out Uncle Romi, man. Uncle Romi.
It all circles back to Uncle Romi.
It went 360
It
degrees.
did.
Huh?
Bring it back around. We are. See, so like, for. I forgot the question. Anyway, rates. So like being able to do this in my spare time was kind of like my escape, my outlet. It was an outlet for sure. So when people talked rates, it was already kind of baked in. Like I was doing Snapback and their rates is just their rates, right?
Yeah.
We're paying you this amount. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I'm just here to play. Like, it's really weird. My mentality was just like, I'm just grateful that I get to be here and play, because I didn't want a club DJ. I definitely did not want. I was purist boom bap music, like just records and real hip hop. That is what they say, no mainstream bullshit. Like I didn't listen to the radio, didn't even know what was on the radio. It was that deep. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Pay me whatever. I don't care,
Yeah.
But now it's different because I'm real choosy because it's like I don't need to DJ and I don't always want to DJ. Like sometimes I love the work-life balance. And if I'm doing two, things that are work-related and I don't have that time for me to just do nothing, because I love doing nothing, you guys. People are like, you must be partying all the time. Everything you post. I'm like, that's just what you post. That's not my life.
Yeah.
I like being at home. You should know. I like to be in bed watching $1 Million Listing like all day long, doing nothing.
Y'all need to hang out together.
No, for real. I watch like Selling Sunset so many.
I love Selling Sunset.
Really?
See Selling Sunset? So, then you watch Tarek and
PJ, what we
and then Heather flipping out Musa.
Yes. Like I
New
love
season
those.
coming out of Selling Sunset.
All right. First of all, we ain't got no Netflix sponsors, so don't be talking about Netflix.
We're trying to get them.
Yeah.
Trying to get them. But yeah, like that stuff I enjoy. Or, when I was in the Bay, I had my own home. So I was continually doing stuff to my house. And that was my joy, being with my kids and doing work, home projects. So for rates, it's just like, oh, well, whatever now. But now it's like, do I really want to take that gig? I don't know. Or when they give me rates, I'm like, this is my rate. Because I kind of don't need to do it, but if you want me there, this is what I'm going to charge you.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different for me.
Yeah, and relatively it's different for me because like, I mean too, like DJing is like all I do. So it's like clubs, weddings, radio, major sports and all of that stuff. So it always fluctuates between like, is it a company that I'm like, DJing for today? Is it a wedding? How long am I going to be doing this for? Is it a club? Do I really want to DJ at this club? That type of stuff. But then at the same time, as DJs, we also know there's like a dry season, which is like, basically January or November, December, all the way through like February. So it's like maybe during that time, I got to like lower my rate just a little bit or at least find the ones that are really going to like go for, what I want because I think the position that I'm in is kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Oh, fuck, I love talking about this. But, like, the position I'm in is, like, such a double-edged sword because it's what I love to do, but then once you start putting a dollar sign to, like, what you love to do, then you start doing, like, so much more, and then, like, it'll tire you out, and it'll wear you out, and then you get to a little point where you're just like, I don't even know if I want to fucking do this shit anymore. You know what I mean? Right. And that's the stressful part about it. Just, again, finding like that work-life balance of like this is the dollar amount and this is how much I love it. So let's just keep on balancing it out. Because I mean, I'm sure you've been in positions where it's like gig after gig after gig, and the next thing you know, you have like a week or two where you're just like, I don't want to be on this anymore.
That was Vegas for me because I had to fly out all the time, and luckily I had a place to stay. Otherwise, I'd been like, oh my gosh, living in a hotel all the time. But it took a lot out of me just to pack up and go there and then play crazy hours and then come back and work, and then go do it again. And then having the local gigs too mixed in with that. And it is tiring. And so that's where it's like, is it worth my time to go?
Yeah.
Or do I like even where I'm going? Especially if there are people that that you want to see and hang out with. That also is a factor because it's like, yeah, I'll go. Well, the rate's not that great, but I know so-and-so is going to be there and I just want to hang out. I know it's a good vibe. You know? But the seasonality of rates, I agree with.
Yeah.
You got to switch it up sometimes.
Yeah. It might go up a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Couple 500 or 600, you know what I mean? Might go down in like January a little bit, but who knows?
Have your kids ever expressed in DJing?
Well, so my first, so I was pregnant while I was doing the radio show, so people kind of knew, baby was coming and or baby was in my belly and so forth. And so when she was around, I always had to have her, and she would go on the mic, and she knew all the New Edition songs because that's all I listened to, and even when she was in the womb. So they have a special bond with New Edition, and it's because probably that. But she would go and she would say things on the mic, and people would love it. So they grew up on it, and we tried to teach her. But, I don't know, like it didn't really stick. Maybe later, and they see what I do. And their dad is also a DJ or was DJing before, so they grew up on it. But they're like,
Like, we don't want to do what they want to do. Yeah, and I get that though, because it's like, I guess, like, okay, think about like Magic Johnson's kid. He don't play basketball.
Was it EJ?
I think so, but he don't play basketball. Yeah, like, can you imagine being like Michael Jordan's kid or Steph Curry's kid, and then you gotta freaking be like better than that? I'm like, no, hell no.
No, yeah, you can't get any better than Steph Curry. He's probably one of my favorite players right now. I said it last night too. I said, besides Kobe, I think Steph Curry is like my favorite person to watch.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
He was so annoying at the game last night.
Me? Yeah. I wasn't that annoying.
He now has a drop on air. Actually, I didn't tell you.
What? Yeah, I have a drop?
Yeah, they used it all day today.
Oh, y'all gotta send me that.
Yeah. What are those? Is that royalties that you need? Or?
Yeah, I need. I don't even want a lot.
No,
just give me like 1%.
Voluntarily being recorded, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Y'all don't give me anything. At least send it to me so I can use it. No, because what was happening was that every time like the Warriors were scoring, I was just like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
And then the Lakers started scoring, and some guy churned, a Lakers fan, he churned, and he's like, oh yeah. I was like, they got you there. I was like, yeah.
It was good though, because we were in a very like healthy environment. Okay, you know what I mean?
Good.
It was like,
it was a good. It was
like a Warriors fan, his dad who was a Lakers fan, then it was me, then it was Jackie, then it was another Warriors fan, and then his girlfriend. I was like, oh yeah, this is everything I could have asked for. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's like throwing beer at each other or nothing. Yeah. I was like, this is lit.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Those days are over though. Like, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Anyways, before we leave 360, how did you get your name?
Oh man, I feel like I told this story so many times. So when we're forming this female group, they're like, okay, well, what's your DJ name? And I'm like, yeah, that's going to be tough because I don't want it to be like DJ Miss Jinky or Miss DJ, like something very feminine and soft.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to be bad. I want to be real, real good. Yeah. And I want it to be something that's a little bit more masculine. I want it, or maybe even ambiguous.
Okay.
So,
Androgynous.
Androgynous.
You know what I mean? Just to compensate for the words that I didn't know earlier in the podcast.
Well,
I can say androgynous.
you were there when they taught the A words.
We didn't get all the way to E.
So yes, you didn't get it. Everybody else. We didn't skip school that day. Yeah, and so I was, heavily into record shopping. I was digging all the time, out here in Melrose, and I think one of my first records was Grand Puba, which y'all know.
Okay.
I play as my intro, 360, What Goes Around Comes Around. I was like, this is a dope record. I like this. And then there was also UMC's Blue Cheese. And from that one, I'd listen to that one heavy. There's a line in there that says 3-point drop, turn, stop, and freeze, spin 360 degrees for blue cheese. And I was like, I like that line. 360 degrees. I was like, huh, okay. I was like, I think this is the name. I was like, it's continuous, it's consistent, and I just was like, this is me. Like, I feel like this is it, and I was like, I'm going with 360. And I stuck with it ever since then. Even when I was not DJing, because there's a time in college where I stopped DJing because I was fucking around too much and racing cars and import modeling.
Yeah, me and Jackie ran into a video of somebody talking about what happened to a Jinky.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that one was a viral video. They're like, what happened to Jinky Cruz? Well, she was this.
Yeah, I was just like,
Me and Jackie looked at each other.
Scrolling on TikTok, I was like, babe. I was like, and he's just like, yeah. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I know what happened there. I was like, shit.
Yeah, big shit back in the day.
Were you doing it with Sophia Lynn? Because I think Sophia Lynn might have been in that.
I'm much older than she is.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe there was some overlap, but I was already out like by 99 because that's when I moved to the Bay. Started adulting. I was like, fuck this shit. I can't do this anymore. I need to grow up and, do something with my life and not this.
Yeah.
So, no, but racing cars though was fun. I still love that. Like, I wish I could still kind of fuck around with cars, but no import modeling. I my IG might say otherwise. I still got it somehow.
But so then there was a stint of like where 360 disappeared and then came back.
Kind of, but I still used it as all my handles was 360.
Yeah.
Everything was stamped 360. Like I used to draw, so everything was tagged with 360 on it. So people just knew it was still
sick.
me, and I stuck with it.
For the record, I would have been happy with DJ Blue Cheese.
Blue Cheese.
DJ Blue Cheese, everybody, over here on the Mexipino podcast.
No, but really, like 360 is karma. So what goes around comes back around again, and that's
Amen.
That's me. So, and I believe that shit, like for real.
And the work that you put in is the work that you get out of it.
That's right, for sure. Yep.
Amen. My name is Nico Blitz.
I'm Jackie Ramirez.
I'm DJ 360.
And this is the Mexipino podcast. See y'all later.
Yes.